Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you all had a great weekend, but we are set for another huge, big week at your sports and sports betting brand of record. I, of course, am the coach. This is Driving the Line. We're here every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now, as soon as this show is over, I am wheels up. I told you, we're going to have so many crew members a part of this show this week. I will be on the call on the Arnold Palmer Invitational, the next signature event on the PGA Tour. So I'm wheels up. We got everybody ready to go to take care of my spot. We'll have videos. We'll have new guys. We're going to have everybody. But the man who handles our weekends, the man who puts cash in your pocket is my partner, my five-tool player. His name is Allan Bell. We call him AB. Let's bring him in right now because I love on a Monday. And AB, this is becoming kind of a ridiculous kind of little thing that we do every Monday. I bring you on. I say how good you've done. You show the recap. But I'd love to do it again.
Coach, I would too. First, good morning. Good morning to everybody in the crew. And I'll tell you this, the crew did work in college baseball this weekend. The most difficult weekend of the year. We had ranked teams versus ranked teams all over the board. Every single game was one run in the ninth. We lost Alabama last night in the 12th inning to ruin a perfect Sunday. But the crew, I'm telling you, man, they did work. Great job overall. A lot of fun. And this week's going to be good.
Oh, I can't wait. Cortez in the chat says, AB paid my mortgage this month. Thanks, brother. Well, it's only getting bigger and better. By the way, we logged on today, and shout out to Tony. He's our newest crew member. So many of you have now joined our very exclusive club called The Crew. If you have not done so, I encourage you to do it right now. You can do it right here on our YouTube page. Hit that join button. It's a very, very low cost, and we have so much exclusive content every single day, an exclusive segment. We've got March Madness up there. We've got Howie Schwab segments up there. Also, tomorrow, we'll be taping the next segment from the legend Howie Schwab, who, by the way, is in the chat right now. He's going to be looking at specific players because in March Madness, you can bet props. We'll be doing that. That'll be up there live tomorrow right here as a crew exclusive. AB, please go.
Yes, not to interrupt your flow, but, we were speaking last night and with the crew as well in regards to adding something fun for premium members in regards to that, right? And doing a mega leg parlay every day. I was informed this morning. Well, I was informed this morning that, quote, that would be just an absurd amount of felonies. So we're going to step back in the drawing board and get to work on that one. It was going to be fun, also illegal, but yeah, it was going to be good.
Okay, we don't want to do anything illegal. That's for damn sure. But we do want to give the crew their normal weigh in on the show. They've been really good as of late picking winners. They kicked me to the absolute curb last week on what was the game that I picked? It was the Warriors and the Raptors. They took the Warriors, I took the Raptors, and the crew set me straight. Where are we going today, AB?
We are going 2 plays college basketball, 2 plays in the NBA. Duke -6.5, Texas +6.5, the Clippers on the road +5.5, and the Thunder against the Lakers +1.5. Those 4 options are in the poll in the chat. Vote now, and we will update at the end of the show.
You're damn right we do. Man, I am so fired up. It is March 4th. We are a week away from championship week, AB. We've been talking about it since we decided to relaunch in February. I can't believe we're here. I can't believe how much we've grown, and I can't believe how many people are joining us every single day. So are you ready to put more cash in more said pockets?
Ready, Coach. Let's go.
You're damn right. It's time for the picks. All right, look who we have, our usual Monday crew. The silent assassin is here. My man, Jonathan Zaslow. We call him the Z-Man here at the show. By the way, Z, you're working overtime this week for Driving the Line. You'll be hosting Wednesday and Thursday. Somebody not going up? What's going on?
I'm looking forward to it. Your wheel's up right after the show, so I'll step in on Wednesday and Thursday. I'll drive the show with AB. It's all good. I'm looking forward to it. Come on now.
He grinds, man. That's why he's a part of what we do. Also, he has his own live show every single day at noon. Educate the people.
Yeah, of course, Zaslow Show 2.0, everywhere you get your podcast. It drops around noon every day, and it's obviously mostly South Florida based, but Obviously, we hit on all the big stories nationally. So Zaslow Show 2.0, wherever you get your podcast. And of course, you could also hear me 4 or 5 nights a week on ESPN Radio.
Look at him dropping the mic right there. Jacob, that's big time, kid. That's big time right there. All right, by the way, I got to set Scott straight. He says, Coach, championship week starts tonight with the Atlantic Sun, which is something nobody's ever said in the history of time. And by the way, we start championship week when I say we start championship week. And it's going to be next Monday right here on Driving the Line. Still love you, Scott. All right, we're going to do something we've never done here on the show today. We're going to start Monday off with a little footy because our man Charles is waiting in the wings. We're going to be doing our Champions League exclusive, but it's going to be on the free side for everybody. As you guys know, Champions League returns this week. So I need a little taste. I just need a little taste. Jacob, if you don't mind, start us off. What do we got today?
Yes, sir. I am all over this Inter game. Inter in over 2.5 goals. I love Inter right now. They are scoring a ton of goals, 10-1-1 at home. 8 out of their 11 home games have seen over 2.5 goals. Genoa just 3-6-3 on the road, but have allowed 2+ goals to all top 5 teams in Serie A when they have faced them. Inter averaging 2.6 goals per game at home. I think they cover this themselves. I don't think Genoa gets on board. I don't think it matters. Inter in over 2.5. And then I'm going to the Israeli Premier League. I am on Hapoel Beersheva. They are taking on Beitar Jerusalem, and I like their team total over 1.5. Beitar loses on the road a lot, and they give up 2+ goals, and they have in the last 4 out of 6 road losses. Shiva at home, 7 out of their 11 home games that they have won have seen them hit this team total over, and they really just dominate this team in the long run, and I like them to put up 2 goals at home. So, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I thought the second play was a anytime goal scorer. To be honest with you, I thought that was a dude. That was a guy.
Do you know how much time that's going to take to find that play tonight for the recap?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, Jacob, good start. By the way, you know I love feisty Howie Schwab. He's my favorite Howie Schwab. He just backed the crew in the chat, and he goes, there are some small championship week games. Look at that. Howie, I thought we were on the same page. I thought you were my guy. But apparently,
Howie's a man of the people. He's got Scott's back, baby.
Yeah, he wants to sell those T-shirts that are coming out very soon. I am one of Howie's homies. That's coming. That's coming. All right, Z-Man, let me come over to you, big boy, because I love when you sink your teeth into a little Monday night NBA, because I did as well. So why don't you start us off? You have 2 that I absolutely love. Talk to me.
Yeah, we got a handful of games in the association tonight, and one of them I like is the now first place in the Western Conference Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Thunder, they won at Phoenix last night. They're obviously on a road trip, and tonight's the second night of a back-to-back. But a really good win at Phoenix last night bolts the Thunder into first place in the Western Conference now at 42-18. They're at the Lakers tonight, all right? And I understand, the Thunder up when they go up against a big team, that could be difficult, all right? The Lakers are a very big team. The Lakers have also been playing much better, even though they lost to Denver the other night. But this Oklahoma City team, now that they're finally in first place, I feel like they're treating this like a little business trip. Even though they're a very young team, I think they go into tonight's game with the right attitude. So Oklahoma City on the road, +1. I like it. And the Sacramento Kings, look, this one is simple for me. They're hosting the Chicago Bulls. Team sucks, all right? The Kings can easily cover 6.5. The Kings are trying to avoid the play-in the Western Conference, which, by the way, that entire Western Conference playoff picture, it is a bloodbath. Every one of these regular season games down the stretch here are huge for Western Conference teams, unless they're the Warriors who waved the white flag last night in Boston. But Sacramento, this is a game they should easily win. They should easily pick up a game here and try and separate themselves from number 7 Phoenix. So Oklahoma City +1 tonight, Sacramento -6.5.
Yeah, our man Joey says AD is not reliable. And Z-Man, what did you make of LeBron James? We got to give him credit. He went over 40,000 points. Can't take that away from him. But did you see his answer when he asked him, what would you tell a young LeBron James when he was 18 years old if you could go back and talk to him? He goes, nothing. He had a great head on his shoulders. He made a lot of great decisions. What? No. Well, did you see that answer?
Yes, of course I did, Coach. I see everything. And what I would say is, number one, I think you need to be careful heaping any kind of praise on LeBron. he told us a couple weeks ago, remember, he's very uncomfortable when people
That's true.
praise him. All
That's
right.
true.
So be careful about how many good things you say about LeBron. We don't want to make him uncomfortable here. The part that stood out to me about that, him reflecting after that game where he gets the 40,000 and he answers what he would tell 18-year-old self. The part that stood out to me actually was the end of that clip where he says how everyone wanted him to fail when he came to the league. LeBron, I don't know what reality you're living in. That was not the case. People were fascinated with you. St. Vincent St. Mary's was the first high school where they're on ESPN. All right, those games were on national television when he was a senior in high school. Yes, was there ever more hype on a player coming into the NBA than LeBron James? No, of course not. But and he surpassed all of it, by the way. But this idea that everyone wanted you to fail, I don't know what reality you're living in, LeBron. Give me a break.
I met him when he was 18. He came to a Monday Night Raw in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And when we remember that, when we walked him out to his seat, front row, of course, I have never heard an arena as loud for a non-WWE superstar at the time than when that kid walked out.
But everyone wanted him to fail.
Everybody wanted him to fail. Everybody wanted. Now, speaking of fail, AB, another big story that came out connected to LeBron James is Rich Paul, who runs that company until LeBron retires. We all know what it is. And he said about Bronny James, he said it's not, shout out to Nate, he said it's not so much about placing him in the lottery, but it's more about the right team on whether or not he goes into the draft. He's averaging 5 points a game. That's why I said we're not talking LeBron today, but I can't help myself. Did you see that from Rich Paul?
I did see that. Look, and Rich Paul's doing his job. All right, that's what he's supposed to do. That being said, 5 points a game, and it's not about, the top pick, about finding the right team. There are only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. It's the hardest draft, to get picked and stick with a team. There are guys that are bona fide All-Americans that go in the second round, and you never see them. So, look, man, Rich Paul's doing his job, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. Yeah, it's not about the lottery. Why would kids ever want to go in the lottery, Rich? Of course not. No, let's put them on the right team. Let's get them with the Hornets or the Spurs or the Sun. It doesn't matter. All right. Now, our man Howie Schwab is doing work in the chat. He's throwing out really good winners on teams that I didn't even know they had teams, to be honest with you. But here's a play. Texas plus 6.5. AB, I'm coming right back to you because the Longhorns, as we start to get towards championship week, March Madness, and really start to hone in on certain teams, Texas plus 6.5. Howie really likes it. I know you've been digging deep in college basketball. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Texas on the road against Baylor. This is going to be a fantastic basketball game. Look, don't sleep on Baylor at all, but don't sleep on Texas either. I like Howie's play on this. 6.5 is a good amount of points, and this is really the time to start watching these teams finish up their regular season, get ready for conference tournament play, and the Big 12. There is not going to be any larger just war than the Big 12 conference championship. So, yeah, man, I like this one. 6.5. It's a lot of points because essentially these teams just want to win the game, be healthy, and get the hell out of there. So, yeah, it's a good amount of points.
Yeah. Speaking of the word healthy, Howie will be back on the show tomorrow, healthy, right here for his usual Tuesday spot. By the way, Alicia says, do we like Duke tonight? Alicia, hold the phone. We may have something for you here in just a second from my man AB. All right, I'm going to go next. If you're going to cast with the coach today, I wanted to take the points out of it. I respect Z-Man so much. And I almost took the Kings minus 6.5. But I said, you know what? The Bucks have been unbeatable. They have not lost since the All-Star break. They've been nearly unbeatable. They haven't even been close, winning by double digits almost every single time. So you can take them on the money line. You take the Kings on the money line. You put that together. You get a nice little plus 122. So I like that a lot. Silent Assassin, Jacob, let me come over to you. Because I know on your daily show at the Picks Management Podcast Network, you guys hit on the NBA all the time. How have the Bucks and the Kings been treating you?
Pretty good. I've been riding the Kings a lot this year. De'Aaron Fox has really turned it up and has really been a leader for that team. And the Bucks were a little scary for a while, but I really like them. They've been on a run lately. No Middleton tonight, so that is a little concerning for me for this game. So this one will be a stay away from me, but overall, it's been pretty good for us.
Interesting. So Z-Man, Jacob just basically slapped me and you in the face right there. Did you notice that? Did you notice that?
He likes he wants to stay away from the Bucks. The Bucks are your play. I'm staying away
I
from
think
the
the
Bucks too.
Kings. Okay, my bad. That's my
Yeah. I think we all dig the Kings. Listen, coach, have you seen the Bulls? Team's terrible. Come on.
Terrible. Even worse on the road. By the way, Jacob is starting to get his nice own little crew over there at Picks Management Podcast Network AB, and one of his boys, the Prince of Picks, who, by the way, is not a crew member. He is in the chat, and he's questioning your handicapping abilities. He says NC State owns Duke at home. Lock up the Wolfpack. Set him straight, AB.
So first off, Alicia, happy birthday, dear. I hope you have a great one at the casino. And if you go to the craps table, put money on 5s and 9s. All right, let's establish that point and let's make some money. All right, number 2, Nate, welcome to the crew. And FlyDad555 says he found us today. FlyDad555, welcome in. But we're talking about Duke, and here's why. All right, I kind of like Duke to win the game. All right, cover. But I'm not going to take it 6.5. We're going to take a little same game parlay here and have some fun with it. All right. So I went to BetMGM, swung by there, went to see the fellas. All right. And they had a nice little same game parlay option you could put together. Plus 120. We're going to take that number down from Duke 6.5 to 2.5, and both teams to score 65 points or more. Those two together, plus 120. A nice little same game parlay. Give you a little insurance there. You don't have to cover 7 points for Duke. Get it down to 2.5. Look, NC State, they do play well with Duke, but it's Duke's time tonight. And let's give ourselves just a better chance at plus money.
By the way, I got into I guess you could call it a shouting match on the X.
Schmaz.
Yeah, some idiot wrote that. What's his name from Duke? Help me out here. They got
Josh Geier?
The forward that got hit when they stormed the court.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, they said, "Oh, did you not see him kick the kid? He initiated that." I said, "Are you serious right now? The same kid who ran from the 20th row? That's the kid. Did he go up into the 20th row and kick him? No, he didn't. He goes, well, he didn't get hurt. He had a double the next. Stop it. All of you need to stop it with this stuff. My goodness, it was his fault. Really. All right, Jacob, I'm going to need you to dip. And I'm going to need you to get in the chat because the adults need to play a little bit here. It is time to educate, entertain. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. Well, we are dedicating this segment today to the ladies, to the women. And topic number 1, Z-Man, I'm going to start with you because Caitlyn Clark over the weekend, she became the all-time leading scorer in college basketball, men or women. An absolute savage, a beast on the court. But it got me to thinking, where do we put her all-time? Not necessarily a number, but who do you compare her to? Because her game is so different from so many different players, men or women. So let's start with you. Caitlyn Clark, your take.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying that she's the all-time greatest. Now, I'm not going to go full Jay Williams, where he won't even call her great because she hasn't, done the winning yet. But if we're going to say greatest of all time, I would like to see some winning next to her name. All right. So, I obviously, in the top 2 or 3, maybe 4 of all-time greatest women's college basketball players. When I think of the greatest women's college basketball player, Cheryl Miller is always the first one that comes to mind for me. I mean, we're talking she won, 2 NCAA championships at USC, and she kind of feels like the OG when it comes to women's collegiate hoops. But Caitlyn Clark, this has never happened before with a female college basketball player. What I'm talking about is she's not just the face of women's college basketball right now. She's the face of college basketball right now.
Yes,
and that has never been the case when it comes to college basketball. Caitlyn Clark passes the mom's test, essentially. And the mom's test, everybody knows, is if you say to your mom, do you know who Caitlyn Clark is? They've heard of Caitlyn Clark. That's the mom's test, all right? And if you take some of the best men's collegiate players right now, mom doesn't know who they are. So the face of college basketball certainly is Caitlyn Clark. She's selling out buildings. I mean, the Big Ten tournament is completely sold out just for the first time ever, just for the hope that you're going to get to see Iowa and Caitlyn Clark in one of those games. So just from the standpoint of putting women's college basketball or women's basketball out there in the forefront, you can make the case that she's right at the very top of all-time greatest women's players. But me personally, I always think of Cheryl Miller, who is obviously so dominant. She also won a couple of NCAA championships, but we've never seen anything like this with Caitlyn Clark before. She is the face of college basketball.
Great take. Joey in the chat says Clark is an amazing shooter, but so many of you, I lose it. But does she move the needle in the WNBA viewership? Maybe if Clark goes to the right franchise to bring in new fans. But AB, to Z-Man's point, we have never seen, to be honest with you, really even a men's college player that people are buying tickets weeks in advance, selling out arenas weeks in advance just for an opportunity to see her play and score. And I know a lot of it has to do with the record, but this has been happening all season long. Your take?
Look, it speaks for itself. Like exactly what Zaz just said. All right. People know her name. People know who she is. She's selling tickets. She's all over every media outlet that you could think of. She did her job, right? Like she is in that category. And let me say, being here in Tennessee and having lived here for a while through the Pat Summitt era, Tennessee women's basketball, the UConn rivalry, like I've been around this sport for a long time. And Caitlyn Clark is right there. Obviously, like she is. Now, if you want to argue, the best player, women's basketball, the best, college player, it's difficult because you have so many different eras, right? Like we see Pistol Pete's name up there. Look, he played less games. They didn't even have a 3-point line, right? So again, I don't think that we have to place her specifically in a spot. I'm more down with she's on the wall. You know what I mean? Like people are going to remember her for a long, 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 long time. And that means that she's part of that. Where does she fit in? I don't know. But like Zaz said, Cheryl Miller, right there. You keep going down the list. Rebecca Lobo, right? Like, I mean, there's so many different names. Candace Parker, when she was at college, right? Caitlyn Clark is amongst those. People can rank where she belongs there, but she belongs. And she's made it because she's made her and Iowa basketball a household name.
I wrote down some names for myself, and just the one men's name that I compare her to because of how she scores and how ridiculous. Like when she broke the record a couple weeks ago, whatever that record was, I think it was a women's record. The way she broke it reminded me of Chris Jackson, who played at LSU, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and the way he played as a freshman scoring 55, the double nickel. And this was a long, long time ago. But three women for me that are right up there.
He still plays, by the way, Coach. Like Mahmoud still plays overseas, and he's still really good.
I had no idea. He was playing in the 90s.
Holy he still plays.
Cow. Wow. Didn't know. Thank you, Z. You mentioned Cheryl Miller. Brianna Stewart, I saw a lot of polls that have her right there at 1-2. Diana Taurasi certainly was an absolute beast.
Taurasi was a beast.
Yeah, I mean, but those are women that carried their teams to championships. These are women that got it done in the Final Four. So this year, whether it's fair or whether it's not fair, the fact she didn't get it done against LSU last year, she's got to get it done this year. But I don't think they're as good this year as they were last year. Getting beat by Nebraska and all those types of things. Go ahead, AB. What do you need?
Yeah, no. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Hawkeye in the chat made an excellent point. She took Iowa to a national championship, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that Iowa is Indiana State Larry Bird. What I'm saying is she took Iowa all the way there.
That's true. But
yeah,
the other argument is that if you're the greatest of all time, you've got to win that game. And that's what we're going to look back on and say, did she win championships as the greatest of all time? And so far, the answer is no. And so we'll see what she can do this year. Now, speaking of women, topic number 2. How about this? The Oklahoma softball team, for the first time in over a year, they lose a softball game, 71 games in a row. And the last time they lost a game, February 19th, 2023. Now, it's a little ironic that they just opened up their $12 million new stadium. This is their first loss at home in more than 4 years. They're trying to become the first team ever to win 4 straight NCAA titles, but this is about the streak. So it got me to thinking, Z-Man, of all the greatest streaks of all time, and there have been a ton of them, in your mind, what's the greatest streak of all time?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with something local here. I always got to represent 305. I'm 305 till I die. And when we talk about great streaks here in South Florida, it's 58. The number 58 that stood right there at the entrance when the Hurricanes come out the smoke at the Orange Bowl. 58 consecutive wins for the Miami Hurricanes football team at the OB, RIP OB. Doesn't exist anymore, of course. But from 1985 to 1994, if you had on your schedule, you were at the Miami Hurricanes, it meant your ass. You had no chance going into the OB and winning that game. Hostile crowds, great old school bleachers, super uncomfortable for all of us there, but that just meant you had to stand the whole time. You got the sun, it's super hot there, and those boys, they would beat you down for 4 quarters. If you were playing at the Orange Bowl, you had no chance. I grew up going to Canes games there. Unbelievable environment. Obviously, it'll never be replicated down here. 58 consecutive home wins for the Miami Hurricanes. And during that stretch, we're talking 3 national championships as well.
And that was prior to cable television. So you only got those 1 or 2 games on the weekend. So there was a lot of like lore, like it was a lot of mystique around those teams because you didn't get to watch them every single week. That's a great pick, Z-Man. Here's some of the greats of all time right there. Cal Ripken, that one will never be touched because they're soft in baseball these days. Joey D, 56 straight. Wayne Gretzky, stop it. Byron Nelson, 11 tournaments in a row, the dub. Oh. And I'm going to go next because my pick is the one at the bottom of that. Because when you think of Tiger Woods, and I get to call the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and Arnold Palmer is one of the greatest players of all time. He didn't even come close to this record. In fact, the top 4 look like this. Tiger at 142, Byron Nelson at 113, Jack Nicklaus at 105, Hale Irwin at 86. Do you know how good you have to be? Imagine you showing up for work every single week and never missing for 140. Could you do that at your job if you're an accountant? Just not even miss? That's how good Tiger Woods was every single Thursday, every single Friday to make it to the weekend. He never had to cut his Airbnb short. That was a joke. Tiger Woods, that to me is the greatest streak of all time, and it will never, ever, 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 ever be broken, and it won't come close. Right now, if a player gets to 20 or 30, they're considered fantastic. He went to 142, 1998 to 2005. AB, where did you go on this one?
So I think both of you have excellent choices. All right. Shout out to the OB, by the way. Absolutely, man. And that 58-game home winning streak is amazing. Tiger Woods, same right there. Exactly what you just said. Excuse me. I'm going to go Joe DiMaggio. 56-game hitting streak. It is so ridiculously difficult to get a hit. I don't care what era that you played in Major League Baseball. That is insane. Cal Ripken, right there. I mean, 1A, 1B, pick which one that you want to go with. They're both absolutely amazing. But for me, I'll go Joe DiMaggio just because good luck. I don't know who's going to break that one because it is just absurd to get a hit in that many games. Like you said, Coach, Major League Baseball players don't play that many games in a row in their careers right now.
Are you kidding me?
Dude,
can
56
you imagine?
games, dude. That's amazing.
Can you imagine? I'm doing the math in my head. So 10 years would be 1,600 games. Then you add 1,000 to that. So that's like another 7. So you'd have to play like 17 straight years, Z, to get to Cal Ripken's record without.
I mean, the crazy part is like there was never one morning he woke up and his hamstring was a little bit tight.
Right.
It's like, you know what? I mean, can I get a day? Not once? It's kind of wild.
It is really wild. Well, what do you guys think it is? Put it into the chat. Which streak do you think is the best? We want to know. We're also, if you missed it, and if you're watching right now, you didn't miss it, but we're going to take this out and put it up onto our page and also do some other countdowns that we're going to come up with the next week. AB, go.
Yeah, real quick. Our man, Brian Blade, has another great one, right? UCLA basketball. Dude, they were doing work.
88,
work.
right? 88?
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame. I got to work with who was the coach at Notre Dame who beat them. Oh my gosh, somebody help me out in the chat. Coach, we worked with him at ESPN. He was grumpy too. Boy, was he grumpy.
I can see his face. Oh, damn it, man.
Face, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Somebody help me out in the chat. Who was the coach at Notre Dame who beat UCLA to stop the 88 streak? And we'll get that here in a second. Gentlemen, I love those two topics today. But guess
Digger
what?
Phelps.
Thank you, Digger Phelps. Grumpy old man. Grumpy old man. If you walk by him in the hallway, just look down, and he might say hello to you. Might.
I feel like the only person that he ever spoke to was like Barry Melrose. Like they just got each other. I don't know why.
Barry's my guy. I played golf with Barry all the time. Barry's my guy. And if you were on the first tee, cigar in the mouth, and he would probably go through 5 or 6. And when he would putt, he'd take the cigar out of his mouth very nicely on the fringe of the green so it wasn't get touched. He would putt, walk right back over, pick it up, right back in his mouth, constant for 4.5 hours. Barry Melrose, the best.
Respect.
The best. By the way, shout out to the family of Chris Mortensen. Worked with him for 10 years at ESPN. He passed away yesterday. It's been a bad last 2 years for some legends over there at the Worldwide Leader. John Saunders, Chris Mortensen. There's a couple others I can't remember right now.
Don't forget John Clayton.
John Clayton, yes. John Clayton, my goodness. Stuart Scott several years ago. So I feel very lucky to have worked with all 4 of those guys. And I know, Z, you've been at ESPN for a long time too. So, man, that's why you got to love every single day. That's why we're always in such a good mood because, damn it, we love doing this. And all those guys, Mortensen loved the NFL. He loved those guys. He loved being a reporter. Some of the best jobs in the world. And you just never know. He was only 72. That's not that old anymore. But cancer will kick your ass. So be grateful. Be kind to one another. Sorry, I had to get that out of my chest. I apologize. All right, it's now time for the whip around. Shout out to Kevin. He says the John Clayton ESPN commercial, the greatest. Ma! That was so great.
I'm done with my segment.
Yeah, that was a segment. Oh
Dude, he
God,
just cranks up the Slayer.
Do you
And
guys
takes
know?
and he whips out the ponytail.
Yes. Oh, the ponytail was the greatest. He lived in. People don't realize he lived in Seattle, and he had a very ill wife, and so he was kind of one of the first guys to do this remote thing because he couldn't travel all the way to Connecticut where we all lived. I lived in Southington, Connecticut for over 10 years when I worked there, and he stuck to that, and ESPN was good with that, and that's what I remember most about him. He was so dedicated to his family and all those guys.
And I'll also add real quick about John Clayton. I mean, I know you brought it up about Mortensen, but John Clayton and Sean Salisbury essentially invented the whole, double screen debate formats where they would go at each other in a time where you never saw that on television.
Mm-hmm.
They were there at the very start of the whole, debate format there on ESPN.
No doubt about it.
But it was real. Like, it wasn't like, produced. It was real.
Mm-hmm. They loved each other, though. They loved each other.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was out of respect. Like, it was good, just sports talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Production meetings. What are those? Crazy thought. If you know, you know. All right, Jacob. Welcome back, big boy. Welcome back. Now, we call this the whip around for anybody that couldn't come in at 10 a.m. Maybe you had a work meeting, maybe you weren't on your break yet, but damn it, you're on your break right now. Shout out to Super Kick Party. Welcome to the party. All right, Jacob, we call this whip around 15 seconds or less on every single one of your picks. Start us off.
Yeah, I am all over Inter to dominate this game, so I am taking Inter in over 2.5 goals, and I'm all over Hapoel Be'er Sheva in Israeli Premier League for their team total over 1.5 goals.
Watch your language on this show, sir. All right, C-Man, let's go.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma City tonight +1, even though it's the second day of a back-to-back. Real good win at Phoenix last night. I think it carries over to the Lakers. They're in first place in the Western Conference now. I think they want to capitalize off that. And Sacramento, it's just as much about the team that they're playing, and that being the Chicago Bulls are in Sacramento tonight. So I like the Kings to win that one by double figures. They're favored by 6.5.
And I love the Kings, too. I'm taking them on the money line, but I'm going to put them with the Bucks on the money line. They're playing the Clippers, but the Clippers couldn't even get to 90 points last time. Injuries are starting to creep up, start to snag them a little bit. I don't like the number for either game, although I think the Kings do roll over the Bulls. So you put my two together, it's plus 122. Then our man, Howie Schwab, he'll be back tomorrow. He loves Texas tonight, plus 6.5 against Baylor. That's only minus 105. AB, bring us home.
What I love first is Prince of Picks. Went and became a member. Congratulations right there. You are made man status. Nice job on that one. We're going to put a same game parlay together for Duke and NC State tonight. Duke, we're going to take that number down from 6.5 to 2.5, and then both teams to score 65 points or more. Put those two together, plus 120.
All right, very good, man. And DTL for Live Cortez. We've now officially made it a month. We've had members for a month. But, Jacob, we've got some issues. We got some issues with you. Excuse me. Moshe Stern, hopefully I got that correct, says, as an Israeli, I'm happy I get to bet on my league. On the other hand, we got to work on the pronunciation, Jacob. You are becoming one of my favorite cappers. So, little good news, bad news for you. Are you
hold on. I've been speaking Hebrew since I was not even 13, since I was like 7 years old. I can read Hebrew fluently, so I know my pronunciations on Israeli leagues. Thank you.
Went from 13 to 7.
Yeah, really. All of a sudden, 6 years.
Yeah, I had my bar mitzvah at 13. I was already reading Hebrew fluently at 13. So yeah.
Can you imagine Jacob?
So take it easy, Moshe Stern. All right.
Wow. Peel Jacob showing up.
Wow.
Talking about his bar mitzvah.
I mean,
wow.
Jew on Jew crime there. I mean, we're all supposed to get along here, part of the tribe. I mean, come on now. These are hard times. We're on the same side.
I agree, Z, man. That seems a little harsh for you two. I would love for you to make up. Just not today. Because I like it. I like that a lot. My goodness. All right. Shout out to all of you who joined today. Shout out to all of you who've been around for a month. We're just getting started. And damn it, we're going to grow this thing to the biggest sports betting brand in the world. And we want you here every single day. Z-Man, I trust you in my seat Wednesday and Thursday, and I appreciate you. All right?
Thanks, playa. Looking forward to it.
Apparently, we're in the same tribe, too. All right, Jacob, we'll see you tomorrow for Champions League. And also on the show, it's a busy week, but we have everybody ready to go. It's time for the closing bell. John said, not his favorite capper anymore.
I was about to say, that is going to be the poll. That is going to be the Crew's play of the day tomorrow. Who's the next favorite capper?
Prince of Pick says, don't piss off the silent assassin. He got fired up.
I respect it.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you just gotta throw your weight around a little bit. I like it.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You know, Team Mom's going to spout off in about 20 seconds in the chat, and she's going to defend him thinking it's the right thing to do when then they're going to have, what did I say? It's like I know exactly what's coming. He knows Hebrew, baby. All right, AB, what's the Crew's pick today?
The Crew is going with Duke. Minus 6.5. Overwhelming choice tonight. Right there against NC State. I like it. I think it's a great call. They're taking Duke. There you go.
All right. Duke minus 6.5. They're all going. Who was it in the chat that loved NC State tonight? Somebody loved NC State tonight. Can't remember who that was, but one of you is going to be right. One of you is going to be right. Do not forget, AB, if you're a Crew member, we've got so much on that side, but also Champions League is back. We've got another episode tomorrow separate from the show with Charles and Jacob. We got a lot coming up this week, right?
We do. And tomorrow, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we will also have This Week in College Baseball. And we spoke a little bit about it on Twitter yesterday. Again, this was the most difficult weekend of the year. This one coming up, time to make some money. There are some nice options coming. We'll talk about that Tuesday.
You're damn right. I really feel like we're getting our flow. Everybody's showing up. We're joining every single day. Hundreds of you are finding. If you have friends that want to find a show, where you're valued, listened to, where you want to come and have a good time every single day, where else do you need to be? Producer man, thank you for my one shot. It is now time for you to go out into the world. Be kind to one another. Be good to one another. Spread the word of the show. And understand that tomorrow I will be live, just not in this seat. I'll be live from Florida, getting ready for the next big PGA Tour event, because that's what we do. We have crew members all over the place at the highest level. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, Lobo, the Z-Man, the silent assassin, who apparently has been bilingual for 20 years. AB, my 5-tool player, producer man, always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day right here at Driving the Line. Good luck.